Here, my goal is to factor out the GCF. Before I can factor out the GCF, I need to find the GCF. So what I'm looking for is the GCF of 3x squared, 6x, and 24. Okay, so first I'm going to look at the numbers. I'm going to look at the number 3, 6, and 24. And I'm looking for what is the greatest common factor of those three numbers. So the first thing I notice is that 3 is a pretty small number, so I'm going to go ahead and just list the factors of 3 are just 1 and 3. So now, if I'm looking for the greatest common factor, I'm going to start with the greatest number and say, okay, well, is this a factor of 6? Yeah, it is actually, right? 3 times 2 is 6. Is 3 a factor of 24? Yeah, it is. 3 times 8 is 24. If I don't know, like if I'm like, is 3 a factor of 24? What you can do is put in a calculator 24 divided by 3, and you'll see you get a whole number. You get 8, which means 3 is a factor of 24 if you get a whole number. If you get a decimal, right? So like let's say this was 25 and you did 25 divided by 3, that would be a decimal, and therefore it's not a factor. Okay, so in this case, my greatest common factor is 3. Now, is it 3x? Let's take a look at the x's. So here I have 2 x's, here I have an x, and here I don't have any x's. So x is not part of the greatest common factor because this term doesn't have an x. So as long as one of the terms doesn't have an x, then x is not a common factor. Right now, if this had an x here, then yes, x would be a common factor. But in this case, x is not part of that last term, and therefore x is not a common factor, and the GCF is just 3.